Hey guys, this is Pharaoh 2091, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All for Nintendo DS. As we left off, we began our trial, and we're pretty much accusing Acro of killing the Ringmaster. Of course, we're having trouble trying to get everything together, but we're trying our hardest, and now we're going to hear testimony on Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would have been unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to the witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. Well, that's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. Oh, can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. Alright. Well, before we go ahead into this cross-examination, I want to take a look at my, some of my evidence here, because I don't know if I looked at every single one or not. Let's see, we looked at the crime photo, picture of the crime scene. Alright, so we know how Russell, he had slumped over a wooden box, which contained only a bottle of pepper. Still cat, Ringmaster's papers, which had his negotiations, poster, broken bottle, map of the circus, crap. Money to Monkey, Leon, autopsy report. The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box that was locked by a small key. Found inside a wooden box. Grand Prix photo, note. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just looking over everything. Okay, so the one statement I kinda might throw you off guard is saying that he's like it makes it impossible for him to find the location of Ringmaster's head. Well, I believe that might actually be wrong if he had something to kind of mark where he would be. Probably something like this. Acro, you don't really need to lean out of the window, did you? Where are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe we should take a look at this. The key point here is a wooden box. The same wooden box the victim was hunched over? The very same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the Ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory does make a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the Ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bust were to fall upon a point marked by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. Really? Wow. Very true. Order! This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Sorry, I had to burp there. Oh, I'm gonna whip you again. Mr. Phoenix Wright! Ow, ow, ow! The Ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he left the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. Jeez. I wouldn't... Yeah, the contents were kind of peculiar, but we're not trying to aim at that at the moment. We want to say the size of it. The box is a remarkable size. Size? Exactly. I think you can tell from the picture the wooden box is very large. To lift it up, one would have to be required to squat. Meaning that one would have to take it up in both arms, right? Moreover, the box is quite heavy. It weighs in the neighborhood of 20 pounds. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That's correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter where you are or who you are, your head will be approximately at the same place. Fool! I will find that very hard to actually, determine or like trying to deduct, but hey, we're talking about Mr. Phoenix right here. Does she even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you drop it? Did you drop the bust onto the Ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? Well, yeah, I do. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I like to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how could I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? Damn, I didn't really think of that one. You see, Mr. Wright? Explain that! Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Ugh! Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried a bus from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room? Well, it's actually quite simple if you think about it. If you take a look at the bust, it says, let's take a good look at it. You would probably say, yeah, it's heavy, yeah, it's large, but you also like to characterize it as being shiny. Now, who likes shiny things? Who likes taking shiny things? Yeah. Oops. There you go. A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. For instance, he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order a monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read a court record. My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Gwah! Acro! Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easier for him to bring that bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be in the market for a new roommate. So he's not really denying it. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma, where is that bus in question at this time? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal a bust, and if this damn thing would stop popping up... Ugh, there. If the monkey did not steal a bust, then what happens to this case? Well, in that event, something else must have been used as a murder weapon. Well... Or maybe this bust was a murder weapon, but it was used by accident? Yeah, that's possible. Maybe Acro saw money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think there's more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. And why can't I continue? Oh, there you go. Moron! Don't call me a moron. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by his fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime! Oh! How could you forget that? There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you down. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around, aka turnaround or turnabout. Oh. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of a crime. One was the victim, Russell Barry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Wright. The clown saw the murderer. Who was it then? You ready for this? It was that. Why? We'll find out now. He saw Max's butt. Ow! I asked who was the other person most saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frere. It does indeed have something to do with the question. And if you don't understand what that means, it means, on the contrary, my brother. That's what 4 years of French can get you. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. Oh, where is he going with this? How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw was the night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw happened to be wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. Or a cloak like that could easily get snagged on the bust if they came into contact. Idiot! Who in the right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? The question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? Don't... Damn, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Well, once again, it may seem more weird, but if we assume that Russell Barry took Max's costume, then if you kind of think about it, it would be him who put it on there. How? Find out now. Fool! Him? You are saying it was the victim himself, Russell Barry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust. Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. White? Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together now. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached the rope to the bust, and he dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room, and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house. And damn it, there you go. But none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is where the magic happens, and pay attention, guys. At the very instant the bus hit the victim, yeah. See that? You wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. And why does this thing keep popping up? There you go. This circus isn't over yet. Eh? I mean, yeah, that is a little bit of a long shot, but it could happen. With the shock of impact, it threw up the cloak and just snagged onto the bust. That's when a sound was heard by a witness, and he took a look out his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised to the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because, well, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And voila. There goes your flying magician. And that is how the magical murderer disappeared into the sky that came to be. Well, that's just weird. Now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro, it could only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. Sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there could only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual at Moe's eye. Witness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, you then get out of this jam. That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. And when is it? Well, I was going to save it for later, but we're actually kind of close, so... The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Moe's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Moe said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat was that Moe saw was actually the bust. Very, very true. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did use a silk hat. Well, see it, sort of. Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what the ventriloquist said in court? He said he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one. Can you do it, Nick? Of course! I can explain all of it! What was that? Please recall the incident when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? And get this? See how it's snagged on? You wouldn't be able to see it. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Ah! Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not even visible, but blah. They weren't visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order! Order! Continue on. Damn, this video's going on for too long. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. They still look calm and happy as ever. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think I didn't? If you did, then maybe you understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Yeah, she is right. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. That is true. Didn't he say he treated him like a father or a son? Your Honor, I'd like to hear Acro's story. To learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel like this is a good place to take a break. Same thing here. I'll listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. And this is where my video will stop. Because it's going on. I hate when my videos go on for this long. Ugh. Whatever. In any case, we're very, very close. We just gotta think of a damn motive now, and that should be fun. But, as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later, or see you all next time for Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All for the Nintendo DS. I'll see you guys later.